Does the whole idea of looking for a job feel stressful and overwhelming? The thing is, you could just not and go and binge watch something for hours and put it off for another day. But that's not going to get you anywhere, is it? If you break it down into manageable baby steps and do a little bit each day, you'll go farther, faster. And today I have 5 things that you can do to get yourself going towards succeeding. The top 5 best job search strategies. And if you stay to the end, I have something extra for you as well. I'm Jen, and welcome to the Careers by Jen channel, where I help you to get the job, love your work, advance your career, and I talk about success and wellness also along the way. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, and if you've been here before, well then welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive right into my top 5 best job search strategies. Number 1, figure out what you want, and more importantly, figure out what you don't want, so that you aren't wasting valuable time heading down rabbit trails, looking at jobs and at positions that in the end are not going to suit you. So figure out what your non-negotiables are, what you do want, definitely, and you won't take any less, and non-negotiables and what you don't want, what you absolutely cannot have, cannot manage, cannot put up with, or don't like to do in a position. And this takes a little bit of time. You can do it really simply with a piece of paper and a pen, or get out a laptop and do it there. But make sure that you take time to do this step, because I think it's critical. Figuring out what you don't want will save you a ton of time. And by that I mean salary. What are you willing to take as your lowest level of salary? What about your commute? How far away is this job? How easy is it going to be to get to? Do you have to move? And what are all the expenses and the costs associated with that? Is it the kind of job where you can have flexible working situations, hours or locations? Is it the kind of job where you are going to be able to leave work at work? Or do you have to be on call? Are you working with a team or not? Are you on your feet all day? Are you at a desk? So all of these different things will make for a more happier you as an employee in the end, if you have weeded them out before you even get anywhere near the job application process. So figure out what you want and what you don't want. That's number 1. Number 2 is do your industry research. Industry research means that you need to dig into the industry and the company, the organization that you are applying for. And by doing that, you will learn a lot about that company that will do you well in the interview when you get there. You might learn some things that help you with those non-negotiables. So you can do this by going into the business, if it is a brick and mortar place that you can actually go into and visit as a client or a customer, but that might not be possible even right now, as we're in the middle of this pandemic. But you can always go online, because most organizations, most businesses, even the industry itself will have some kind of an online presence. So what can you do? Get out your Sherlock Holmes and gear and get investigating. And you can do that by looking at websites, looking at social media sites associated with that organization, looking at if there are any news articles in the media that have been published. Social media, do they have social media platforms? The other thing you can do is go onto LinkedIn and look up the name of the company and see who you might be connected to that works there. And that can come in handy in some of the next steps as well. But check out who they are and how long they've been there and what they do, and file that away in case you want to reach out to them. Industry research takes a little bit of time, but honestly, it's time well spent. The third thing kind of sucks as well, but I recommend it to all of my clients, and that is to customize your resume and your cover letter. And by customize, I mean really tailor your in a truthful way your experience and what you've done and the qualities that you have to the things they are looking for in the job description or the job posting itself, in the material that they have out there for what they're looking for in a candidate. And yes, it will take time for you to do that because you might have to focus on different things depending on the different jobs and the different positions that you are possibly applying for. But this is a far better strategy than just papering the town with a generic resume and cover letter that doesn't have a name on it, the cover letter that clearly is generic and doesn't have the information on it that is specific to the job in question. And people can smell this a mile away, and your material will not get looked at nearly as quickly or as often as if you take the time now and sit down and tailor those documents. So it's quality over quantity, and that's where you should be spending your time if you want to spend your time wisely in your job search. Number 4 is to use your network. And this goes back to checking out LinkedIn and seeing who's connected there, who might be a first connection, second connection, even a third connection to you on LinkedIn, who works in the industry or works at that particular company. 70 to 85%, there's an argument around the exact number, but 70 to 80% of jobs that are granted because of who the candidate knows, rather than somebody off the street that no one's heard of before. So who you know is absolutely and utterly important. And one of the things you can do with your network in maximizing it is to ask for informational interviews. I do have a podcast, and I think a video even that will be linked down below on informational interviews and job search strategy and exactly what those are. But it's inviting people to meet with you for a quick coffee. It could be online now, or it could be face-to-face in person, and have a little bit of time to be able to ask them about what it's like to work there. And not to ask them for a job, not to ask them to use their influence, because they may not even know you at all. But most people are willing to help if you are genuinely curious about them and about what it is they do. People like to talk about themselves. So that is what you can do as far as an informational interview goes, to do with your network. So that was number 4. Number 5 is to update your social media, and especially update your LinkedIn profile, and pay particular attention to the photograph. If the photo is not a good one, you might consider getting a professional headshot done. Dress and present yourself in the way that you imagine yourself to be at this position, at this company, at the job. So make it a good picture, a clear picture, update all of the information, make sure you take out anything you don't want in there, make sure you put things in that you want to put in, and do the same with your social media sites, because 87% of recruiters will check out your social media, especially your LinkedIn, but your other social media platforms as well, to see what you're really like. And that can make or break that phone call, that email that says, please come in for an interview. That can make or break that invitation. So your social media sites are highly important. There are more and more people online, and an online brand and online presence is very, very key. So those are my top 5 best job search strategies. Now, for the thing that I mentioned at the beginning, if you want more in-depth help and step-by-step walking through some of these things that I've mentioned today, I have a free 5-day Jumpstart Your Job Search Challenge. Say that fast. And I will link it below. It is also a bar that pops up on the careersbyjen.com website. You can click on that, and for the next 5 days you will get an email in your inbox with a task for you to complete that day. So it's a little bit of homework each day for 5 days. By the end of that 5 days, you will be much farther ahead in your job search if you've done none of this yet. And I will explain things and give you resources that you can look at to help accelerate your job search and get you closer to getting that dream job that you are hoping to get. All right, well, thank you for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe down below, and I will see you next time.